There we go. 3 minutes of trying to figure this out. Thank you, Jen, for your patience.
Of course. Are you kidding me? Most people would be like so impressed. I'm so impressed that you persevered. Yeah.
How are you today? I'm glad to have you on.
I'm so great. I'm so excited to spend time with you. Like, you're one of a kind, and I love watching your adventures with your family. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just going to get right into it. I know your time is precious and I value your time and I appreciate you coming on with me tonight. So I just want you to give a little introduction about yourself so you can, so my friends and family on my Facebook can hear a little bit about you, about your background in the industry.
Natalie, well, first of all, thank you for having me, like, to get to spend time with you. I feel really blessed. My name is Jen Purga. I live here in Southern California, but I started in this profession, online marketing, about 14 years ago. And it wasn't even cool to be on the internet doing it then. So, when I started, like, I was taught to go to school, get a good degree, like a lot of us. And I really, truly loved my time in higher education, but then I had 2 boys. And so to be able to stay home with them, I looked for avenues that I could do that. And I found network marketing, which has been an incredible opportunity for us to just have something that I could do around my kids' schedules. I've been able to raise them, to help them not miss their first, and, to be able to find something, a vehicle that will provide an income for people around what they're doing is huge for me. So I sat out for about 1.5 years, this last little bit, until I found what we're going to probably talk about today. And that's because truly I was looking for something that really everyone needed right now, and something that was digital, that people could have an asset that they could build from anywhere and that they could cash flow. But it was something like you and I both are passionate about, travel. So my background, I've been able to make multiple 7 figures, but only because I've aligned at timing and with the right companies, with the right people. And so I think that really does matter when you're looking for an opportunity, that it's solid. The one that we're going to talk about today has been around for 12 years, 9 years solely focused on travel and lifestyle. And so for me, it had to make sense and check all the boxes.
Mm-hmm. And I just want to say thank you for going to Spain back in May, because if it wasn't for going to Spain, we wouldn't be here today.
It's crazy now that you say that, because honestly, it's to be able to launch North America. It's a big undertaking, but I'm so grateful that I was invited to go and evaluate this company that was, primarily all in Europe for the last 9 years. And so to really look the leaders in the eyeballs, you and I both been in the profession a little bit, to be able to know, like, there's things that go wrong and things that need to go right. And so to look to make sure that under the hood, to be like, okay, is the owner debt free? Is this something that's been tested and battle tested, which it survived through COVID? And so just to really see that we have our hands on something that's really special, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. I know you booked Hawaii right away, pretty much when you got back, and you took your boys there. Can you share a little bit on your savings from your trip?
Yeah, I will. I wanted to make sure that, like, not only is the product itself that we're talking about is life experiences, but what I wanted to also make sure, the booking engine, we have a 4.8 rating on Trustpilot, and there's 1,200 reviews, but I was still like, I want to review this myself before I recommend it. So I booked a trip to Hawaii that we were already going to take anyway. So the fact that I could save $4,400 between our hotels and our flights. Like, now, I travel often. So I usually would use Hawaiian Airlines or Delta. And I was like, boys, maybe we're not going to go this year, because all the tickets were like $750 to $950 a person. And I'm like, okay, that just alone, the flight was going to be $5,000. But when I looked on Travel Advantage and looked at the savings there, we could see the flights were only $427. And I'm like, well, then maybe we can go to Hawaii this year, because now instead of it being $4,000 to $5,000, it was only $2,000. And then the hotels, my boys are teenagers and they're large. So I was like, I can't now have them be in our room with us. So I was like, okay, I got to book 2 rooms instead of just 1. So I wanted to make sure that was a good savings. And we stayed where they like, which is the Hilton Hawaiian Village. And we saved about, so it was like $1,000 a room for us that we saved through our platform. So just enough that it made sense to be a member. Like, I was like, if this makes sense, if I travel a few times a year, either for spring break or Christmas. We do experiences now instead of gifts. It just really, I wanted to be able to save when I would do the average things.
Absolutely. That's what I said a few years ago to my son. He had way too many things in his room and cleaning it out was overwhelming. So I'm like, hey, I'm done with things. Let's just do experiences from now on.
I love that. And I love watching what has been like your favorite that you guys have done.
We probably, well, I signed up in May shortly after you joined, sat on it for a few months, but I also used the platform. Back in June, I actually booked our trip to New York. I don't recall the savings, but I know there was about 4,000 travel credits that I earned. I was focused on the travel credits that time, but then didn't really focus on the savings, but I know I would have saved a little bit more if I stayed on the Manhattan, New York side rather than in New Jersey, because the transportation back and forth was quite expensive. So that we really enjoyed New York. We just got back from Disneyland not too long ago, and I want to say we saved in between $700 and $800 just on our accommodation.
Wow, that's so good.
Canadian too. So when in our app, we can adjust the currency to Canadian and pay in Canadian dollars.
Okay. Yeah, which I love. I mean, even that Vegas trip, like I couldn't believe that the Encore normally that I would have paid for like $350 a night, I added one night on after the trip and it was only $123. I'm like, for a hotel that's normally $350, $400, to be for and then I could use my loyalty points or my travel credits to make it even less expensive. So like this, just the membership alone has significant value.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So another question that I have, how do you think this company differentiates from other companies within the market?
So what I have seen in this space is there is no competition, because what I'm looking at is World Ventures went out of business during COVID. That was the only competition that we could have really had. And then I see that people are putting white label travel on the back end of their company, which 12 years ago, ours actually was a white label platform. And so when Yoni could see, which is our owner, when he could see that like the only thing with white label that you can compete against is either personality or compensation plan. And so it's not it's not good if you don't own the product. So what I see that he made a decision 9 years ago to 100% go all in travel and be number one in the travel space, not be like adding on nutrition, not adding on crypto, not adding on something else. Is just to be 100% really good at a product in the travel space that people would use and love. And now we just keep getting better. There isn't competition in that place, because even we're going up against Booking.com, Expedia, Agoda, those prices. And I haven't lost the betting game yet on that, except for one time. So in 4.5 months, I've only had one person beat our prices, and it was a trip to Dublin. But out of the other, I mean, you guys, we've gone from 2 of us to almost 4,000 of us in Canada and the US in the last 4 months, and growing. And I've literally only had one person beat the price. And so that's where, to me, and they could get 150% price match guarantee, which I love. I also love that there's the reviews on Trustpilot, which also we get a 4.8 rating, and like Booking.com, where I used to book, they have a 2.0 rating. And so I love that we actually have such higher reviews with 500,000 worldwide users, but we're first to North America. So it's just been really an incredible opportunity to bring this here to North America, because people really want to be able to afford to take trips like you are with your son, but they just don't know how or that it's possible for them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love how when we went to Vegas and Yoni did his presentation, how he explained back in COVID days, they elevated the company and everyone else is on standstill. I can't remember. If you could remember a little bit on how he elevated, I would love for you to share.
Yeah. So he saw a need for like people that want to travel. They also, he said, you find people that want to shop. And so they put on the back end a lifestyle mall for our user to get wholesale access to things like anywhere from $30 leggings to Gucci products, to Prada, to like, so life experience stuff on the back end, Tom Ford sunglasses, things that people who like to go have life experiences and have fun usually also attract like a shopping or doing things when they're out and about. So I love that the company stayed completely, profitable during COVID and didn't go under, because people were still able to book travel in places that weren't shut down, because they could just curate life experiences where they weren't shut down. And then also they had access to the lifestyle mall that they could save at when they were shopping at home. They got wholesale access to things that you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. So it just was a genius add-on. It was an accident. He was like, it was an accident actually, but it worked to our advantage.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. We have an AI option within the platform. Can you explain a little bit about the AI option?
Yeah. And it saves so much time. So like, I didn't want to be a travel agent, and like I have two teenagers that argue about where we want to go. So I'm like, all I have to do is put in our destination and then where, and it auto populates like based on your budget and where you want to go. And it syncs with our activities portal as well as hotels. So it will populate out, like I put in Oahu, and I put in, my boys want to do snorkeling. They want to do, a helicopter tour. They wanted to do jet skiing. And so I put those things in, as well as like our budget and our price point. Within a minute and a half, I was able, maybe less, it auto-populated for the dates that we were going, the recommendations based on our budget, the hotels, as well as the activities. So now, instead of me having to go and search all this stuff separately, I actually went directly to the helicopter tour that was recommended. I had 5-star reviews. I could read the reviews right there. And then I went and I booked it based through there. I earned an extra 4,000 travel credits by booking our helicopter tour. Not only, and then I went to the helicopter tour site and I was like, okay, this would have been $70 more a person had I gone directly through that website. Instead, I saved $70 a person on our helicopter tour. And then after we finished it, we were deposited those travel credits. So AI is just the beginning. That's phase one. And phase two is going to be where you're going to be able to have it plan your trip, and you can add it all to cart. Right now, you have to add those things separately. And I also love, like, if you and your son were on your Disney trip, imagine, you guys, that you show up in Disneyland and it tells you, hey, Natalie, based on your recommendations, I see a cute coffee shop over here, or I see a hotel of what you'd want to do, or this ride. And that's what we have AI integrating into our software that's coming. So when our users go to Paris or go to Disney, it'll tell them recommendations based on what they like. So it's forward thinking. It's the first travel company that has AI integrated in it. So it's just huge.
It is huge. And not on top of the AI, when we went to New York, I booked a couple excursions, I guess you can call it. We did a city cruise and we did a private tour of New York City. So those were both booked onto it. I don't remember the cost difference of savings, but obviously I earned travel credits and I found that really cool. You can type in the city that you're in, like I can go to Vancouver, say this weekend I want to go to Vancouver, I can type it in and it lists me all of the events or activities that I can do, and I can choose one or two of them and off away we go. I love that.
I love it because it gives you ideas. Like I did that. My son lives in San Diego and I was like, okay, what's there to do in San Diego this weekend? And it populates out and it gives you ideas and you can save and then earn future travel credits. It's really, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It really is. I guess for people curious out there that like to know a little bit more about the business side or savings with the platform, why would you recommend jumping in right now?
I would say, we have 123 days until we officially launch in North America. So right now we're in that pre-launch stage. The company has been around, like I mentioned, for the past 12 years, 9 years in travel, and really building momentum in Europe, but we're first here in North America. And so what we're doing is putting on the platform life experiences that people here want. We've, met with the corporate team and been like, you know, here's where we want to go in Canada. Here's where we want to go. Here's the top 10 here. And then here's the top 10 in the US. And I've never seen a corporate team that like quickly maneuvers to make sure that the US has what they need and Canada. So it's like the Montreal experience at Christmas, or like there's different things they're adding on because we're launching here. So if you've ever looked at a company, the best time to be is when kinks are kind of worked out internationally, but it's first in North America. And that's what you're looking at, 123 days until we officially launch here in Dallas. So you get the benefit of timing. I've also never seen like a digital asset where you get to make 85% commission upfront. And that's what this allows people to do. It's giving them access to wholesale, like luxury travel at wholesale prices through their membership. But then our ambassadors are making 85% commission. So if you already know you need another revenue stream and it's something you can do from around what you're already doing, like you already have something that you do full time, but you're adding this on. Now you get to have the tax write-off of travel and life experiences, which the average family can save about $6,000 to $8,000 a year with tax write-offs because you're in a home business. And now it's, you know, with travel, it just makes it more affordable for families, but you get to be positioned first before anyone else hears about it. So I think there's no better timing than right now.
Absolutely. And speaking on the tax write-off, it is a little bit different in Canada. And for me as a First Nation person in Canada. So I got asked that the other week, and I was asked, how does that work? How can we write it off? Because we make income and it's non-taxable on reserve. So I'm like, you know what? I don't know. And I haven't gotten there yet. So I will figure it out when I get there, because right now we're just going along with everything and moving along and taking things as is. So once I get there, I'll figure it out.
That's so true. But like in the US, so if you have anyone on here that is US or Canada, and you can, because it's a business, once you choose. Now, some of you guys are like, I just want to have access to the travel. Like, welcome on in. You can be a customer. We love our customers who just want access. But if you're somebody who says, no, I actually want a position in Natalie's team, like first to be launching with her, like you couldn't be in a better spot by getting back and like getting more information. We will do some conversations with you and see if it's a good fit. But what I love is that those of you guys that do need additional, I live in California, and like you can use this as a benefit because it's now a small business that you get to now write off your stuff on your taxes. So, but yeah, I totally respect that. It does. Everywhere is different.
It is. Yeah. And I won't know until I get there, to be honest.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think I have any more questions. That's pretty much all that I had for you. I'm just looking at my notes.
I love it. It's so good to spend time with you today. And then so if I were to say to you, if there's a couple places you still have on your dream board or where you guys want to go, like, is there places for sure that you're like, oh, I really want to be able to go there?
I've been trying to utilize our Pro D days and stat holidays. So in a couple of weeks, we are coming up on Remembrance Day. And so there's a Pro D day in between. So on Monday is a Pro D day, stats the Tuesday, and Friday is my son's term end. So they don't really do much that day. And so I figured if we can leave Thursday night to go somewhere, he's like, can we go to Dominican Republic? We've never been there. He's like, why do we always go to Mexico? I'm like, true, but I'm thinking all inclusive, somewhere a little bit closer where the flight's not too crazy. Because when I was looking at Dominican Republic, it was at least 12 hours with layovers. So from here.
Okay.
Yeah, but places that we want to go, I do want to go take him back to London, and because it was amazing out there. And I did tell, like, just before this opportunity came about, I told him, I was like, well, if you keep doing good in school, prioritize your grades, prioritize your soccer, and maybe for your graduation trip, we can do Spain. Because he's a Barcelona fan. So he's like, I want to go. I was like, maybe we can go to Spain. We can take you to a game, and that's for your graduation trip. And this kind of plopped on my plate, and it's kind of made sense to me because I can save all of my loyalty points. And for that trip, like, I can use a little bit here and there, but I could intentionally save it all.
I love that. You guys, this is literally a place where you get back and get information, put an airplane in the comments or put info or DM Natalie specifically and just say, hey, I want more info. Because for those of you guys who are like, my kids want to go places, there's no greater feeling as a parent or mom that you get to help make wishes real for your kids, like to be able to go places that they want to go. My son, same thing. He is 17 and he's like, Mom, I want to go to Africa. So we won that trip through the company to Seychelles. And he was like, I get that trip because it's to Africa. So I'm like, I think this just makes it possible for us to have affordable things that our kids will want to do. And now it opens doors for them to be able to do that. And I think it's such a special opportunity.
Absolutely. And I was actually mentioning to my friend in California that he's 15 in December. So give him 4 more years whenever he's old enough to get into the network marketing industry. I'm like, he's probably going to want to do it anyway because he's lived this with me for the past however many years. So when he turns 18 or 19, so that's 3-4 years down the road. So who knows? He's going to run his own business.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. That's what all of their friends are doing is on social media. And now if they can actually save money building their business from, flip-flop lifestyle on the sand or wherever, it just gives them another option of making cash flow from, legitimately through the company. So it's really cool. I put both my kids in. So I think it's, it gives them a chance to like earn an extra income around what they're doing.
Yeah. Absolutely. One question did come to mind, though, that I completely forgot about that I wanted to ask you. How are couples coming in? Are they coming in as separate businesses or are they coming in together? And what is the most common way that you see it?
So I think in our company, you're not limited to one position only. You can actually build multiple positions because we're just building 2 teams. Like I personally put in my husband underneath me, but I have not activated it to build his spot. So most couples are putting whoever's mainly going to build on the top spot, and then they're putting their second spot, their spouse, right underneath them, so that at the time that they go to build, they can actually, have travel usage on their second spot. So you can start building it right away if there's both building, but I recommend if they're just coming in as a couple, have one top spot and then have a second one ready for when you go to build it later.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate your time, Jen, and I'm really excited to hear all of the updates out in Turkey. I know you leave soon, and I know a lot of leaders are already on their plane making their way to Turkey. Yeah. I wish I could attend, but I'm excited to hear the updates, that's for sure.
I love it. I hear villas are coming on the platform at a fraction of the cost. So families that may have never dreamed of having a trip to show up and have or timeshares that can accommodate larger families, all of that's coming on our inventory on our platform too. So I'm excited. But I leave for Turkey tomorrow morning, and then we'll be there for a week. So you'll see, we'll give updates along the way. But thank you for having me today.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jen.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.